Hi friends, sorry about the delay, but here we are in the part 3 of how I made this fluted media wall. In part 2, we have made all the cuts required for the nooks and crannies, and also we have installed the sconces, skeleton for the floating shelf, and the TV backdrop. Now you're seeing me cutting the top and bottom pieces for the floating shelf. That's the plywood. Yes, I've used the leftover plywood from the TV backdrop just to save some money because this wall is getting to be so expensive, especially with the fluted panel. Once the cut is done, now we are doing the dry fitting for the bottom and the top. Once I'm done with the floating shelf dry fitting, I started cutting the rest of the fluted panel so that we can cover the entire wall with the fluted panel. So that's what I'm doing right here, cutting all the pieces and then just installing it here. We need to make a vertical cut for the last piece of fluted wall to correctly fit in there. So that will have a precise cut only in the table saw, and I'm particularly very scared of table saw. So here my husband is actually helping me out in having that cuts done. So now I started installing the face frame. The face frame is something, it's not the plywood that I want to do for the floating shelf. I got a pine wood and that's what I'm installing. It's 1x4 pine wood that I'm installing as the face frame because that would give you that much seamless look that we wanted. If you see here while installing, you could see the big gap on top of the floating shelf. I will make it seamless. Just wait for it till the end of the video. And that gap happened because I cut the wood in the Home Depot itself, and they themselves will tell you a rule that they will not be able to precisely cut it. So it was like half an inch off. So that's why that gap is there. But we can use the wood filler to basically fill it. But let me show you a trick how you can do for the bigger holes. Here you can see it's completely seamless because I filled the gaps between the face frame and the plywood using the wood filler. But this one is a really big one, and if I just fill it, it's just going all the way down. So what I did is a small trick where I just used the shim to fill in those holes first, and then on top of the shims I just filled it with the wood filler, so that shims would be acting as the base for the wood filler to stand. So that's what I did, and it actually worked. It is holding up pretty good because it's been a month now since the completion of the ORC challenge, and it is holding up really good. Now it is almost done. So floating shelf is done and the fluted wall is completed. Next step is basically painting. Come back for the next part so that I will show you how I paint this.